What's up, guys? Andrew here from VTV. Give you another post-commentary match, and joining me today are my very good friends Josh Perez and Shaquem. Hi,
What's up?
guys.
Hey,
What's
what's
up?
up?
All
How you
right,
doing?
so in this video, it's Shaquem versus Jopagan. It's Granblue versus Revengers. So you know what? What do you guys think of the matchup before we start?
I already know what happens firsthand, so it's okay.
All right, Josh, what do you think of the matchup?
Um, it's definitely a matchup that I don't usually get to see too often because you don't really see the Grand Blue players coming out too much. But Revengers, I'm ready to see what they always bring out. Shakim's been playing the deck for like a couple of weeks now, trying to get the hang of it. So you're gonna see some like first day on the job sort of Revengers coming up.
All right, let's get right to it then. Let's start.
All right.
All right.
So Shaquem started off with the Dorant play. I probably would have rode Masquerade myself, but
Yeah, the
guess he
thing
didn't
was
have it.
I didn't have Masquerade in my hand at the time, so I run with the better option.
I mean, sometimes you don't get that Masquerade, and you gotta live with that decision for the rest of your life. But it's whatever. No one wants to get grade locked.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
Granblue player going off with the Samurai Spirit.
It's
What
not
the?
it's not a bad
The best
ride
ride. The
because
best
if you
ride they
pull
have.
blast out, yeah, yeah.
Eh,
Be- Because usually they should be playing Evil Shade and Cutlass and She's Throwing Banshee, which are like 6Ks and 5Ks. So you definitely want to ride on the Samurai Spirit just for the defense against like decks that have like 11K hitters. I don't know how many have them. I know Grand Blue has it with Ruin Shade, but like
Yeah.
certain other decks that don't run 12K hitters, like the Masquerade that Chucky was like,
yeah.
oh, we
As you
got
can
this.
see, here's
We
another
got a one to
situation.
pass. A one to
Teching
pass.
challenge. Here we go.
Uh, and here it goes,
Oh
Well,
no.
bang.
right through with the crit,
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
but he heals. So
if you have the time, please slow the video down as slow as you can so you can see that exact moment when the Grand Blue player was like, I probably should have put more down. But if you have the time. But he got the heal and got the
yeah,
Rusty's Banshee into the drop zone, which is freaking amazing later on in the game if it's still there. And this guy going ham,
I
seeing
mean,
that Shaquem didn't have a field.
those are essentially free interceptors because you can just bring them back from the drop zone anyway.
but
Exactly. I mean,
free interceptors, but if you pay close attention to one of the grade twos, one of the skills was when Legion, you can call this card back from the drop zone.
yes,
But
that is
you'll be able to see what he does with that later on in the match.
Yes, that is Pinot Blanc he is referring to. The other one being Deadly Spirit is a Soul Blast 2 for retiring a grade 1 or higher Grand Blue unit to Superior Calling from the drop zone. And Shaquem using the Blaster Dark Revenger Abyss, the Legion mate for Phantom Dragon, to retire the Pinot Gris, which had the Grand Blue player been able to use it, um, at the point of Legion, would be able to put him in Soul to Superior Call anything out of his drop zone, which is usually used for a Cutlass or a Sea Strolling Banshee
Yeah.
play. But Shaquem, I want to know personally, you chose to use Blaster Dark's skill to retire something with the only counterblast you had, which could have been used for a Judge Bout play. Now, was that a misplay on your part, or did you actually want to make that your priority?
Oh. It was kind of a hit or miss play because usually when I do that to most players, retire their starter, most of them kind of go around confused, not knowing what to do per se to continue with their game plan because most of them go in with the game plan that they're going to use their starter. The ones I played, but it was kind of a hit or miss play. But it's not really that bad, like not that big of a deal, honestly, in my opinion.
And now we are getting to the nitty gritty. The Grand Blue player has played Evil Shade, which is Grand Blue's ancient ass 10K booster for milling the top two cards of their deck to the drop zone, which I think personally is the preferred booster as opposed to the one that just gives 10K if you're Vanguard and Legion. Mostly because, in my
Helps fuel
opinion,
their engine.
Grand Blue is the best deck to be using Legion with, just because it can fill up their damage zone so easily, remove their deck of any non-triggers, and still be able to keep the pressure since they can superior call units out of the drop zone like Pinot Blanc, like Sea Strolling Banshee, who can give them pluses off of pluses for literally pennies, essentially. And Shaquem getting that Phantom Blaster Abyss. He's all ready for his Mordred Phantom Break Ride play as it comes out to just wreck the shit out of this guy's field right now.
Yeah, basically this is where shit is really about to hit the fan.
Yes. So plays the grade 2 and is going for the Legion. For anyone who does not catch it, this was a substandard misplay on the Blue player's part, in my opinion, because he did have a Pinot Blanc in the drop zone, which he could have gotten back from the drop zone for free.
He had two.
He had
Two of
two.
them.
He could have superior called them both. Now he already had a Deadly Spirit in the field, so the other one wouldn't have mattered too much until he intercepted later on. But it was just overall probably not the smartest move on the Granblue player's part to not bring it back. There wasn't really too much point to bring out the dragon, especially since he didn't superior call something else out of the drop zone to make the dragon's skill, which is when something is superior called, he can retire something if he hits.
Or have any boosters. For the
Exactly.
Yeah.
So really there was no point to not bringing back Pinot Blanc. And he activates Evil Shades of skill again, milling 2 triggers. I can't really see them too well, but I'm pretty darn sure I saw some Rough Seas Banshees.
Banshee, yeah.
And the 4 damage will be a defensive draw trigger.
Yeah,
which
so
stops all other shenanigans he was planning.
And
Even
now
if he got a trigger.
Shaquem getting that Phantom Blaster Abyss, aka, well, fuck your game. I don't really care.
Wow.
That's the best. Phantom Blaster Dragon is probably the most annoying standing Vanguard to deal with right now, besides Razor, Mega Flare, and Cat Butler, simply because the turn that he goes off incredibly insane.
And the free field that's about to happen right now.
Yeah.
Well, the one free card coming from Makart's skill.
Yep. Not yet.
And also getting the Dorant unflip with Blaster Dark Revenger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back when the Abyss Shadow Paladin Extra Booster was announced, and I saw the effects for the Legions, I automatically assumed like everyone's going to play Blaster Dark Revenger and Blaster Dark Abyss in their decks just because Dorant free flips and this card eats up Counterblast like it's no tomorrow. So glad to see I was right on the money.
Well, I mean, to unflip damage is really good in Revengers because, like you said, everything uses Counterblast. Virtually all their stuff uses Counterblast. Their starter, their bosses, and the Blaster Darks.
Basically.
Yeah. Oh, great.
I mean, all in all, the deck is still a pretty powerful and fun deck to play, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good deck. It's a very solid deck. The whole support behind Revengers is just very good.
Mm.
And of course, Judge Bow is ridiculous.
The Judge Bow play is so good.
Judge Bow, everyone always blocks your Vanguard as long as you're on through in a Mordred or Phantom Blaster Abyss. They will always 2 to pass or no pass you, just because of the fact they don't want that bow to go off.
Yeah, you
which
get
is pretty
double
hilarious.
Swordbreaker, and you get +2, +4 for no reason essentially.
Basically.
Now, Andrew, do you think that the early game of having to deal with a Mordred Phantom or even a Phantom Dragon having to attack you constantly with a Judge Bow supporting it, blocking every attack from that is considered a misplay, or do you think that is the correct way to be counterpicking against Revengers?
Well, it depends. It depends on my hand. Because, if they're only swinging for, base numbers, 16, sure, I'll throw a trigger and a 5k, give them 2 to pass. Not a problem. I'll set up for my Legions. But if it's, the break right turn, I'm going to have to let it hit. Or at the very least, Perfect Guard, the one that gets boosted by Judge Bow.
Speaking of letting things get hit, our Granblue player just let the last hit go off for the game, which ended up being 2 stand triggers.
Yeah,
so
because the crit trigger still was there.
Yeah.
In the Vanguard.
Yeah. So he just got absolutely mauled by another amazing performance by Phantom Blaster Abyss.
Such a good deck. Solid card. It definitely will not lose steam. Even later on in Stride format.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll still be seeing Phantom Abyss in Stride decks, unless we get an even more broken standing Vanguard for that deck. But, whatever happens, happens.
Please, all they need is a Stride. The deck can still run.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So any last thoughts before we sign off, guys?
Not really much. I think I did all right against him. I probably misplayed with the early play with the Blaster Dart, killing his starter instead of using his saving it for Bow, but I went with a gut feeling, so not really much I can say.
All right, well, Josh.
Yeah. The I believe that the Granblue player definitely made a lot of mistakes. Um, Sadly, throughout the whole game, he didn't really make very good use of Granblue's incredible ability to just generate a field for just about nothing. Um, if he were able to do that in his future games, I do think that he would show that Granblue is actually a very devastating deck if you let it be that as it is.
Okay, that's good. All right, so thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and you know what? Maybe we'll have another commentary session with Josh and Shaquem. We'll
Uh,
see in the upcoming circuit.